So, you're a designer, you're using AI to create content, and you've probably felt the ground shifting under your feet, right? YouTube is on a mission, cracking down on what they're calling inauthentic content. And bam, whole channels are getting demonetized overnight. This right here, this is your survival guide. We're going to break down exactly what you need to do to protect your channel, show your real value, and actually thrive in this new reality.
First things first, let's define the enemy. It's called AI Slop. You might have even heard it called Slopitecture. And look, this isn't just about ugly design. It's way deeper than that. We're talking about content that looks like architecture but has zero human logic behind it. It's just mass-produced images that go for a quick wow factor instead of any real design thinking. And to YouTube's algorithm, well, that just screams spam, and it's getting flagged. Big time. So that leads us to the big question, the one that really matters. Is your channel at risk? And, if you're using AI for your design content, the honest answer is yeah, maybe. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. You are in complete control of the things that will keep you safe. And what's kind of crazy is just how specific YouTube's algorithm is getting. It's literally being trained to spot these exact low-effort patterns. I mean, just think about it for a second. The classic slideshow trap, just static AI images fading in and out, that's a huge red flag. Then you pair that with a robotic text-to-speech voice and use the exact same video template every single time. You're basically screaming, hey, I'm a content farm over here. Okay, so how do we fight back against this? And let me be clear, it's not about ditching AI altogether. No way. The solution is what we're calling the human-led creator strategy. And the whole point, the entire goal, is to prove in every single video you make that a human, a real designer with actual intent and skill, is in the driver's seat. You're just using AI as a tool, not as a replacement for your own creativity. Big difference. And here's what that looks like in the real world. Check this out. On one side, you've got the danger zone. That's your static slideshows, your generic AI voices, those super repetitive formats. That's the slop. But on the other side, that's the safe zone. We're talking motion, layering in your visuals, your own voice giving commentary, and this is the big one, actually showing the work. The messy sketches, the wireframes that came before the pretty picture. That's how you signal real human value.
All right, let's get practical. How do we actually build this into a strategy? You know the saying, the best defense is a good offense? Well, that's exactly what we need here. It means adopting a new hybrid workflow that, from the very beginning to the very end, proves a human is running the show.
And it all starts with a simple mindset shift. You've got to move from just passively generating stuff to actively directing it. What does that mean? It means you stop letting the AI just invent the whole structure. No, you force it to respect your design constraints. You stop prompting for a generic vibe, and you start telling it exactly which materials and objects you want. And probably most important of all, you never just accept the raw output. You have to treat AI as just one single step in a much larger creative process. Which brings us to a really cool technique called the sandwich method. Seriously, think of this as your new best friend. It's so simple. You start with a real foundation, your own 3D block model or a wireframe. That piece of bread on the bottom, that proves the core logic is all you. Then you add the AI, the filling, for things like texturing or lighting. But you always finish with the top piece of bread, the human fix. You go in and you manually clean up all the weird artifacts and errors in post-production. See? You're sandwiching the AI's work right between two layers of your own human effort.
And this really gets to the absolute heart of the problem. If a viewer sees a melting chair or a window that makes zero structural sense, well, those errors are the dead giveaways. They're the visual signature of slop. Because if someone watching can't figure out the why behind a design decision, they're just going to assume there is no why. And guess what? The algorithm thinks the exact same thing.
Okay. So having a great process is absolutely essential. But, and this is a big but, it's not quite enough. You also have to present your work in a way that just immediately signals, hey, this is authentic to both your viewers and to YouTube's algorithm. And that's where something called safe content hooks comes into play. So instead of a super generic title like Cool Modern House, you need to frame your video around your design thinking. So try a problem solution hook. Something like, here's how I solved the privacy issue on this site. Or maybe a fix-it story, like how I fixed this really boring kitchen lighting. You could even do an A versus B comparison, showing one room with two totally different styles. Or hey, just do a quick process reveal. Flash that ugly, messy sketch on screen for a second before the gorgeous final render. All of these things prove there's a real thinking designer behind it all. You know, that A versus B hook is especially powerful. It works so well. Imagine you present the exact same room, but you show it with two completely different palettes. Let's say a minimalist vibe with light woods and neutral fabrics versus a raw industrial look with exposed brick and black steel. Then the magic happens. You ask your audience to vote in the comments. Which one do you like better? That creates engagement that is all about design choices. And let me tell you, that is a massive, massive signal of authenticity to the algorithm.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the actual video itself. Rule number 1, never ever let an image just sit there dead on the screen. Use simple pan and zoom effects, the Ken Burns effect, to add motion. Layer on some animated text that explains your design choices, and please, please, use your own voice. It's the ultimate proof that a human made this. Now, if you absolutely have to use an AI voice, you better make sure that script is just packed with personality and unique opinions. Hot takes that a generic bot could never dream of.
All right, but what if the worst happens? You wake up, check your inbox, and there it is. That dreaded email from YouTube. First thing, don't panic. Seriously, the key is to have a defense plan ready to go before this ever happens. That way, you can turn that panic into immediate, focused action. So here's what you do. If you need to appeal, you're going to make a short video, keep it under 5 minutes, and set it to unlisted. In that video, first, you show your channel URL on screen. Then you open up your software, show them everything. Your Revit models, your Photoshop layers with all the masks, your Premiere Pro timeline with all the different audio and video tracks. And as you're showing this, you narrate your process. You say, look, here's the script I wrote myself. Here's the raw render I started with. And here's the footage of me actually editing the final video. It's basically your proof of life, undeniable evidence that you did the work.
Okay, so let's boil this all down to a super simple checklist you can use for every single video. Ready? Number 1, is there a human voice or at least some really unique commentary? Check. Number 2, am I showing the process, not just the final pretty picture? Check. 3, is there motion on screen instead of just static slides? Check. And finally, number 4, did I go in and manually clean up all that weird AI visual slop? If you can say yes to all 4 of those, you are in a really, really strong position. And that really brings us to the final, most critical question you have to ask yourself with everything you make. When it all comes down to it, is your messy, human, creative process actually visible in your final product? Because in this new era we're in, your process, it isn't just how you make the work anymore. It's the proof. It's the proof that the work is truly, authentically yours.